following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Mo, what's up, bro?
Let me say something else, too, about Mo Patton. Mo has done it all. I mean, he's covered the Titans. He's covered the Vols. He's done high school. He's a fantastic writer. He's now actually hosting a talk show every day in Columbia that is outstanding.
I got to tell you, you guys just killed it this weekend.
As 2021 comes to an end, so too does the holiday rush we love so much.
What about it, boys? I am so glad Christmas is over.
If folks did not follow you guys this weekend, boy, they missed the treat.
Speaking of treats, better late than never.
So he comes by playing Santa Claus, drops off some bags, and takes off. Well, in a bag is Chex Mix for the three of us. So I hand off Chris and JP's to Chris, and I've eaten mine.
And Joe, you see where that got us.
Yeah.
JP, don't worry about it. Anything that tastes that bad won't go bad.
It's non-perishable. Is that what you're saying?
Joe's Chex Mix, cockroaches, nuclear war, all the time.
But we don't always get what we want.
Chris, it's okay. Everybody understands keyboard envy, and
I did have some.
I'm going to seek professional help, brother.
So out with the holiday cheer and back to hard-hitting opinions.
So let me try to be as polite and politically correct as I can. But this new reclassification and redistricting for basketball and the other sports is the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
You know what they say about opinions, right?
They've been pushing for it for years, and almost as soon as they got it, you started hearing about
How people didn't like it.
yeah.
Look, it's like my fourth wife. Be careful what you ask.
So on the cusp of a new year, welcome in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
That's right, Sundrop. They don't sponsor us, but they should. Hope you're having a great day. I am having a fantastic day as we are getting ready for the continuation and, I guess, completion of bowl season. Not necessarily the playoffs, but the bowls will pretty much be all but one done when we come back on Monday. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is New Year's Eve. So Mo, how are you handling the end of the year?
The end of this year?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not distraught. Let me just say that. So
Understandable. Yeah. I am, I'm getting ready to head down to Alabama and hang out with my folks, and looking forward to that. And my mom's Christmas gift is not here. It was shipped, I guess, a week ago. It was in Chicago, and then from Chicago it went to New York, and then from New York to New Jersey, and now it's supposedly in Nashville in transit, but I have no idea if it's going to be here by the time we leave. I don't know. So
wow. Your mother's gift, singular, her one gift?
Yeah, she gets the one, but she typically gets some lottery tickets too, so that's kind of a gift. That's all she cares. She's like, I don't need anything, just bring me lottery tickets. Okay.
Hey, ideally winning ones, huh?
I mean, that would be perfect, but it's not always. Doesn't always go that way. Well, we got a pretty big show. Got a lot to get to, including a ton of schedules and results and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get there. What do you say? Let's do today's rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
Girls high school basketball results from Wednesday night down at the Richland Christmas Classic. Gleason defeated Clay County 57-41. Also, it was Forest 56, Spring Hill 45. Summertown defeated the host Lady Raiders 55-28. It was Huntland 58, Santa Fe 43. Up at the Next Level Classic at CPA, Independence defeated Siegel 50-42. Over in East Tennessee, Loretto's girls defeated Jackson Southside 58-47. And at the Above the Rim Classic over at Hickman County, it was Lipscomb Academy's girls 77, Columbia Academy 39.
In boys action, Spring Hill down southwestern Kentucky 59-53. It was Mount Pleasant falling to Pigeon Forge over at the King of the Smokies 59-33. Independence drubbed Lighthouse Christian. Took out some frustration 96-46. It was Summit advancing to the finals of their tournament 63-54 over Page. And at Richland, it was Forest 62, Huntland 59, Santa Fe down Ardmore, Alabama 73-58. Loretto advanced to the finals with a 64-50 win over Lawrence County, and Richland down Summertown 82-70. It was Columbia Academy over the Middle Tennessee Heat 58-44 at the Above the Rim Classic in Hickman County.
In NCAA men's basketball action last night, it was Alabama coming back for a 73-68 win over a shorthanded Tennessee team. NHL action, the Preds dropped a 5-3 decision at Washington. And in NBA action, that guy that the Grizzlies were better off without, well, he scored 41 points as they defeated the Lakers 104-99 last night.
Today's schedule at the Next Level Classic, Independence's girls played at 10:30 this morning against Fairview. At the Above the Rim Classic today, it's Columbia Academy and Joe Burns at 4, and that's the girls, and the Bulldog boys will take on Lipscomb Academy tonight at 8:30. The Spring Hill boys are continuing up at Somerset, Kentucky in the Lake Cumberland Holiday Classic.
In action earlier today at the Richland Christmas Classic, Spring Hill girls and Santa Fe girls met. Huntland boys and Ardmore, Clay County and Richland girls, and Summertown boys played Lawrence County. Later today, it's Huntland's girls and Forest in the consolation bracket finals. Santa Fe boys and Forest in the consolation finals. In the girls championship, it's Summertown and Gleason at 6, and at 7:30, the boys championship game, the host Raiders take on Loretto.
At the King of the Hill Holiday Classic at Summit, at noon today, it was Lighthouse Christian in Riverdale for 7th place. In the 5th place games, Independence took on Station Camp at 1:30. Rockville and Page played for 3rd at 3 o'clock, and at 4:30, Lebanon and Summit will play for the championship. In NCAA women's action today, it is Belmont at SIU Edwardsville at 5 o'clock. You can see that on ESPN+. Alabama travels to the Lady Vols. It's a 5:30 Central tip on SEC Network. Plus, an MTSU is at Texas San Antonio, a 7 o'clock tip. Tonight, the Preds travel to Columbus after losing last night with a puck drop at 6 p.m., assuming that's on Valley. That's going to do it for the rundown. Mo, you mentioned in the rundown that Alabama was able to come back last night and defeat Tennessee. Tough loss for the Vols, especially not having John Fulkerson and their big-time point guard. I mean, kind of important pieces for your team if you are Rick Barnes, because he doesn't have anybody else.
Yeah, if you had told Rick Barnes, if you had told UT fans you're going to go to Tuscaloosa without John Fulkerson, who just had a double-double in that win over Arizona, and without your freshman point guard, Kennedy Chandler, and you're going to lose by 5, I think everybody would have been okay with that. But it's kind of like those old math classes in school. Show your work. And the way this one came out, UT feels like they left one on the table. I'm sure they have to. I mean, they got some pretty good play out of Zakai Ziegler at the point in Chandler's place. They just couldn't get shots to fall down the stretch. And yeah, shot selection may not have been the greatest either, but that's a tough loss. But again, in the grand scheme of things, playing without two guys that have logged a lot of time and started a lot over the course of this season to this point, to play on the road against a good Alabama team and fall by 5, again, in the grand scheme of things, probably isn't that bad, but it's just the way you got there that's a little galling.
A lot of folks not happy with the choice of Rick Barnes late in a game, with some personnel issues. And I mean, I'm not.
You know what, though? There's a faction of this UT fan base that looks for things to not be happy with Rick Barnes about.
I think there are some. I don't think this is part of that faction necessarily, but it's.
Well, I mean, specifically, Victor Bailey in the ball game down the stretch instead of Justin Powell, and Wes Rucker, tweeted about it after the game. He specifically asked where Justin Powell was, in key moments, and Barnes said that people know that he doesn't consistently defend, and they go at him at times. And anybody that's watched this Rick Barnes team since he's been there, if you don't play defense, you don't play. So
if you're down by 2 and you've got 2 timeouts, call one of them and put your shooter in the ballgame. Put your shooter in the ballgame.
So Victor Bailey's not a shooter?
No, he's awful.
I don't think he's awful at all. I think he missed a shot.
I don't think you've watched much Tennessee basketball over the last 4 years while he's been there. He's not been very good at all shooting the basketball.
I think
he's not the guy you want.
Okay.
If you've got Jordan Powell on the bench,
Justin Powell.
I'm thinking Jordan Josiah James for whatever reason. You want him in the ballgame. He is your best shooter. You've got to go with him. Anyway, Alabama could not hit the broadside of a barn from 3-point range last night until the last 2 minutes of the ball game. They drained 3, and then a floater that absolutely should not have gone in. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, he just
I don't know how that
kind of threw it
either.
2 hands over his head and straight up in the air, and it just happened to fall in. It's like, okay, well, this clearly isn't our night.
Yeah. It bees that way sometimes.
Some people say it don't,
but it do.
But it do. On top of that particular loss, you just feel like this has got to be a learning point for Tennessee, just to say, look, we can win no matter what happens with COVID. We have the ability to win if we lose Kennedy Chandler, or if we lose, Fulkerson, or if we lose anybody. We can still compete with the best. So that's a positive.
I think so. And I think that some of the play that they got out of Plavsic last night was really encouraging as well. So
I thought he played well as well. Before we get out of here, guys,
including that banked in free throw.
We'll take it. Hey, it all counts. All counts the same. They don't ask you how you got the degree. Show me the paper. Before we get here, we got about a minute left. Logan Ryan made a comment yesterday, basically to New York media, saying that that the Titans fan base was essentially non-existent. So getting criticized by a New York fan base is different and better somehow. And then he decided to apologize, saying he meant no disrespect to Titans fans. But apparently, I'm not sure who he was talking to, because the fan base is non-existent. So,
that exists. Yeah.
Logan.
And it really
he's
seemed
doing a better job
character for him.
backpedaling here. He's doing a better job backpedaling here than he does in the defensive backfield.
Yeah.
Sorry.
it seemed out of character for him, because that's not, what we heard out of him. That we didn't hear that kind of stuff out of him while he was here. Thought that he enjoyed his stay here. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Well, I don't know. But like you said, the backpedaling and the aftermath was particularly odd.
When we come back, Jason Lovelace on Coach's Corner. Stick around after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
So Chris is not with us. As we're experiencing some technical difficulties here. I'm Maurice Patton, bringing you back in for the second segment of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. In the first segment, we had a couple of things teed up that we didn't quite get to, so let's get to those here now before we go any further. Our Into Win Life Team of the Week, presented by Custom Stone Handlers, goes to the Summertown boys basketball team for their 75-61 win over Columbia Academy back on December 20th. Seems longer ago with the holidays and that kind of thing, but the Eagles improved to 12-1 with that victory a week ago on Monday. And the Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Player of the Week is Columbia Academy's Gabe Davenport, who scored 22 points and hit 6 3-pointers all in the first half of that eventual 75-61 loss for the Bulldogs down at Summertown. So congratulations to the Eagles and to CA's Gabe Davenport for his performance in that loss to the Eagles. Chris, still no luck?
I think I'm back.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
That was a little scary.
Well, I don't know what happened, but we're back. It's working for now. We'll go from there. I appreciate you getting that hardware handed out, and we'll get going here with Coach's Corner. I believe we have Richland boys coach Jason Lovelace, who comes to us today, and the championship, well, the remainder of their Christmas Classic is taking place down at Richland in Linville tonight, or today, all day long. So we're going to go to Coach's Corner presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Renee Hart and the folks over there doing a fine job as always. We appreciate her support and everything. So looking.
I think Chris just froze up again. As he was saying, we're here on Coach's Corner presented by From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill. And again, we do appreciate Renee Williams Hart and her support over there, and want to go ahead and bring Coach Lovelace in. Coach, are you here?
I'm here.
Awesome. Great. Jason Lovelace, boys basketball coach down at Richland. The Raiders have advanced into the championship of the Christmas Classic on their court. Defeated the Summertown team that we were just speaking of a little bit ago last night in the semifinals, and will take on another Lawrence County opponent tonight at 7:30 in Loretto, which defeated Lawrence County in the other semifinal game yesterday. Coach, it's always good when you can get that tournament set up where the host is in the championship, huh?
Well, it certainly wasn't easy, but yeah, we're happy to be playing at that 7:30 time slot tonight in the championship, and the road doesn't get any easier with Coach Tips and Loretta coming in tonight. So excited about that opportunity, though, for sure.
You know, Chris was at your game last night. You guys controlled certainly the first half of that contest and quite a bit of the second half, but not all of it. And when I heard that they had cut it from 21 to 10, I knew what the reaction was on your part. I'm sure that you didn't really care for the way you guys closed that game out. But, you know, overall, what was your takeaway from last night as you head into this Loretto game tonight?
Well, that's a great question. You know, a few people have said, you know, really good game last night, and I am proud of our players, but I really this morning got a chance to watch the film, and I watched the last 6 minutes, because the last 6 minutes were what we had to fix as a basketball team. The guys did a great job of executing our game plan for the first 26 minutes, but Mr. Patton, we gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter, and the two Burlesons had, I believe, 21 or 22 of their 40 points in the fourth quarter. So we didn't do a very good job the last 5 or 6 minutes. And you know, Summertown's not a team that's going to go away. At one point, we were up 25, 26 points, and you just got to keep playing. And regardless of whether it's Summertown or even back in November, Fayetteville City or whoever, we don't do a very good job in the fourth quarter of either extending our lead or putting teams away, and that's what I'm focused on. So I'm not satisfied or happy with that, and I think every coach here would, you know, we're trying to tune things up before we get into the second season of basketball, and that's the district season. And in order to do that, we've got to be better and smarter. Really, that's where it boils down to is the last 4, 5, 6 minutes, we didn't play smart basketball. We just weren't smart, and we've got to become smarter as a team in those last 4, 5, 6 minutes.
Now, that said, how much of that, Coach, hinges on you guys losing, what, 4 seniors from last year's team?
We lost 5 seniors, 3 starters, three senior starters. You know, maybe some. I don't know. I don't really think that my young kids are that young. I pulled them up last year, and they're playing this year as freshmen. They played last year as 8th graders. It probably goes back to me not spending enough time in practice on time and score situations, on practicing those things. So, you know, that's something that I've recognized in the first 11, 12 games that we've got to do a better job as a staff of getting our guys dialed in that last 4 or 5 minutes and put us in those situations in practice. So, you know, I don't want to use it as a crutch or an excuse that we lost some guys. Sure, experience helps, but the guys that we have now, and if you fight for 26 minutes to build a lead against a good basketball team like Summertown, you got to find a way to put it away, and we didn't do that last night.
Sounds a lot like a game I watched on TV last night, Coach. We were visiting with Richland boys basketball coach Jason Lovelace here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, and on Coach's Corner presented by From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill. Chris,
I don't know.
In your
you
Richland Orange, are you back again?
I mean, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's the crackle?
It's gone.
Look at there. See?
Yeah.
Look at there. Look at there.
Yeah,
this is radio. You can't look. Sorry.
Go ahead and talk while we got you.
Coach, we talked last night about, you know, your performance early in the game, because defensively you guys were able to just put the pressure on Summertown. You had the 14-2 run over the last, I guess, 6 minutes of the first quarter, and then a 10-0 run in the second quarter. Defensively, you know, what is it about this team that makes them, you know, the ability to pressure teams like Summertown, who are really good offensively?
Well, Chris, I hope it's just our culture. I mean, you know, I'll go back to the Tuesday night's game against Forest. We gave up, and that's the first game back from Christmas, and you can make all the excuses in the world, but we gave up 24 points in the first quarter. And, you know, and then gave up 24 points for the rest of the game. So it's just a buy-in on defense of everything starts with stops. You know, everything that we do, we focus on defense, and everything starts with stops. And we were able last night to make the touches hard for Gavin, for Grayson, the Burleson kids, and for some other guys to make some shots. They didn't make those shots, and we did a really, really good job in the first half of cleaning up the boards. A lot better job than we did in the second half. So I think it's just the mentality of our kids to focus on the defensive end and getting stops and caring about that. It's hard to do in today's basketball. But they did a good job in the first half. And I'll even say they did a good job in the third quarter. Not as good in the first half in the third quarter, but it just starts with mentality, Chris.
You know, Coach, I love that phrase. It starts with stops. And I guess defensively is where you've got to kind of build things with this team, considering, again, 26-2 last year, advanced to the state quarterfinals, but lost 3 seniors. And a chunk of offense from your team in those three senior starters as well. But I would think you've really got to like the way Tyrell Randolph is playing for you right now.
Yeah, T is he's a special kid, man. I mean, he's what makes us go, and he stepped up his scoring a lot this year with those guys departing us last year. But he really gets people in the places that they need to be. He gets the ball where it needs to be, and sometimes that's in his hands to finish. He is by far getting to the free throw line more than anybody else on our team. He went to the free throw line 14 times last night, and we're pretty comfortable with him getting to the line and making those free throws. And the crazy thing about Tyrell is the games have started the last 2 days at 9 o'clock in the morning. He has been here at 7:30 in the morning shooting free throws and getting shots up. And last night he texted me at 12 o'clock, and he does every night. He texts me and says, "Coach, what are your thoughts moving forward?" Blah blah blah. So we have a great communication and great relationship with Tyrell. And I finally had to cut him off and say, "Dude, I'm going to bed. I'll holler at you in the morning." So he's just a great leader. Good kid to have around for our younger kids, and hopefully it's trickling down to them also.
You know, I had a chance to see you guys over at Riverdale in the second, I guess on the second day when you played against Providence Christian. Took a tough 40-38 loss there, but Tyrell was kind of your X factor in that ball game, because as you talk about, he gets you guys in the right places and that kind of thing. You did some things late and got him down on the block or got him in a high post situation where he was able to take some guys off the dribble and get to the rim. I think he scored on 3 straight possessions for you like that. I mean, I think you got to like his versatility and his ability to, take some things on himself in situations like that.
Yeah, he's a big guard, and he's a strong kid. We got the ball to him on the block last night a couple of times against Summertown also, and just try to move him around where he's not always facilitating the offense, but also getting involved in the offense in different ways than just at the point guard position. And we're fortunate to have Trey to be able to handle the ball to do that some. And Carter Edwards, one of my freshmen who starts, who's done a tremendous job just to get Tyrell involved in other ways and just running the point guard. And he's really done a good job at that in and around the paint. Also on the defensive end, asking him to guard the other team's point guard. And if we need to be, he might not be plan A, but he might be plan B or C on another team's post player. So it's an understatement to say that Tyrell's important to us. He's probably, I told you, I said this to you guys last year with Daniel and Logan and all those guys. Tyrell's our most important player. He was last year and he is this year.
Speaking with Jason Lovelace, Richland boys basketball coach, the Raiders face off tonight at 7:30 in the championship game of the Richland Christmas Classic against Loretto. Quick, Coach, what are your? I'm sure you've had a chance to see Loretto a couple of times this week. What are your thoughts about this one?
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear your question.
No, that's all right. I was just asking what you think of Loretto as you head into this championship game tonight.
Well, we play Loretto, I guess, first or second week in December at their place, and we had a 6 or 7 point lead going to halftime. With the youth we have, they're doing a little celebrating, and Loretto comes out and does what Loretto does and grinds away and ends up beating us by 5 or 6 points. Loretto is going to be extremely well coached. Obviously, the Simone's kid inside is going to be a handful, but also their guard play with Brennan and the Davis kid is extremely good. I mean, they from tip to finish yesterday against Lawrence County, they controlled that game, and so it's going to be a very tough game, and I think it depends on which team shows up. If we have a team that's hungry, or we have a team that's satisfied about last night's game and living in yesterday, then that'll probably decide the outcome of that game, and we'll find that out probably in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, probably.
Coach, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon, and good luck to you here tonight in this championship game of the Richland Christmas Classic. Jason Lovelace, the Richland boys coach, with us here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports. Stay with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
We try again. Third time's a charm, maybe? We'll see what happens. I'm Chris Yao, joined by Mo Patton, and JP Plant is on the controls. As you can see, if you're watching our video, we are at home today. This may be the last time we ever do this. So, yay us. Glad to have you guys with us as we continue getting ready for the weekend that is the end of 2021. It's wild. Cannot believe that 2021 is all but over. Plenty to talk about, though, when we're talking about college football. We've talked college basketball a little bit. We are going to talk some Titans here in the next segment, but some other NFL news. Mo, I don't know. I'm not sure if you saw this, but it looks like, Ben Roethlisberger has basically said Monday night is my final Heinz Field performance.
Wow. I had not seen that. And, he's been beaten up and banged up and that kind of thing the last few years. And maybe it's just one of those deals that it's the best thing for everybody involved for that to be the case. I mean, I don't think anybody really wants to see Ben Roethlisberger play for anybody else other than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not sure anybody wants to see him play for the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. So, and it's tough. It's kind of like that line: you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And his play over the last little bit, hasn't been what's been expected out of him, and may not have been good enough for the Steelers to be successful. And so, that's kind of a tough acknowledgement to make as a player, I would imagine. But I think maybe that's where that situation is at this point.
Basically, he said, coming into this season, I've always been one who's wanted to fulfill my obligation to the team with contracts. I don't have a contract next season. I guess the writing was on the wall from them, but kind of all of us together. I wouldn't say that I had my mind made up by any means, but I had my mind made up coming to this season, and I was going to give it everything I had to try and win a Super Bowl for Pittsburgh. And you got to respect that look, you got to respect both the team, Pittsburgh, for honoring that contract, and Ben. I mean, obviously, they would be in a lot better place if they had maybe made some better personnel moves and with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, obviously, he's not been great since he's left Pittsburgh, but he was phenomenal in Pittsburgh. And then, obviously the Antonio Brown situation was just a mess.
Thank you.
but since then, he's kind of turned his whole career around. So, I mean, it's just kind of unfortunate for Pittsburgh that it seems like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And again, Roethlisberger just has dealt with some foot situations and some knees and that kind of thing. And it's tough getting old in the NFL, and it's particularly tough getting old at quarterback.
Especially behind his offensive line, which has not been great. I mean, he is the number one quarterback in the league for fastest release time because he has the least amount of time in the pocket, even shorter than Ryan Tannehill during that very poor stretch. Yeah. So, I mean, he's had very little to work with over the last few years, but, he gives them a chance to win every time that he's out there because, I mean, he's still been Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, Chris, fastest release time, and as we've seen here at times over the course of this season, not necessarily a group of receivers that can create a lot of separation either. I mean, Claypool has been decent, but their receiving core, for the most part, doesn't necessarily scare anybody. And so
not at
when
all.
You combine that with, less than stellar offensive line play, it just has an impact all the way around offensively.
Yeah, no question at all. He's not the only quarterback, though, that's got some decisions to make. Aaron Rodgers, a 38-year-old, said last night he's willing to make one promise when it comes to his future. The Packers quarterback won't take long after this season to decide it.
Define long.
Because
here's the deal. Aaron likes drama. We've seen that. We saw that coming into this season. We saw it coming out of last season. We've seen it during this season. Aaron likes drama. So what's long?
It won't be something where I'll drag it out for months and months, he said at the end of a lengthy answer about his future. I'm not going to hold the team back from anything. And once I commit, if it's committing to move forward here, it will be a quick decision. I mean, clearly that's not a timetable, but I think the ball is really in the court of Green Bay. I mean, do they even want to worry about a 38-year-old quarterback? Is it going to be a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal?
I don't think they wanted to worry about a 37-year-old quarterback. I think they were ready to move on at the end of last year.
Then why not trade him and get something for him?
Yeah.
Because he's still Aaron Rodgers and you don't want to give anybody else that opportunity?
And, that is a factor. I mean, what if he goes somewhere else and does what he's been doing here? What if there is no drop-off, And I think that's something that you have to consider if you are Green Bay.
And honestly...
And they went down that road once.
They did, in fact. And Minnesota whipped them a couple times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be an issue. Aaron Rodgers was the MVP last year. He's playing at MVP levels this year. he's as good and probably can play as long as he wants to play. So I mean,
I think
it's a tough decision.
I think at some point it comes back to, do you want to deal with everything that comes with?
Yeah, I mean that's the decision you have to make. And I think, if you feel like you've got a Super Bowl winning team around Aaron Rodgers, it's easier to have Aaron Rodgers. We didn't talk about it yesterday when we, about the NFC favorite, but I mean, they're the 1 seed, and I don't see anybody else coming out of the NFC that just says, oh, they're definitely going to lose to Green Bay in Green Bay. I mean, this team is probably Super Bowl bound.
It's tough, like you said. I mean, if they're the number 1 seed, who's going to go through Green Bay and beat them?
So that's the tough part there, and then you got to think about the other players. Like I just said, the Super Bowl caliber players like Devontae Adams. If Jordan Love is the quarterback next year, does Devontae Adams want to be in Green Bay? Wouldn't he rather be somewhere else?
I saw a tweet that Pittsburgh could fix all of their problems by trading for Aaron Rodgers and signing Devontae Adams.
That would fix a lot of problems. I mean, there are a lot of teams who could fix some problems with those two players. I mean, let's be real here. Think of all the teams that could be positively impacted. If Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams were in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey healthy, they suddenly become an NFC powerhouse. Now, Christian McCaffrey being healthy is not something that's happened very often, but
not of late. Yeah.
Trust me, I know. As I'm about to lose the toilet bowl for the second year in a row. I mean, it's a situation where everybody is kind of, and then on top of that, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson's still out there, by the way. And we don't know where his situation is.
Well, can you do anything with Deshaun Watson until you know what his off-field situation is?
Well, I mean, my point to that is that he's a quarterback that's out there, right? I mean, if there isn't a legal situation, he still doesn't want to be in Houston. So, what do you do if you're another franchise out there? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson? I mean, the choice to me is pretty simple.
And you would think.
I mean, I don't know. The NFL is in a pretty precarious situation as far, some of these teams that have found themselves in situations that you don't want to be in if you are an NFL team, and that's without a quarterback, but in the middle of the draft.
I think this NFL offseason is going to be really interesting in terms of the quarterback situation for a lot of these. I mean, what's Atlanta going to do? Or are they ready to cut ties with Matt Ryan?
Well,
I think he's still got some productive play ahead of him, but
I think so too, but I don't think it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think, again, change of scenery or whatever.
You don't like that term, but
I don't like that term.
Of situations.
I mean, Atlanta hasn't. They couldn't win with Dan Quinn. They haven't won this year. But you go back and you see, the success that others have had leaving Atlanta. Is it just Atlanta? I mean, is there something there that's a problem? And what is it?
You have to feel like Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, if he comes back, and Kyle Pitts is the start of something offensively down there.
Well, yeah, if you actually use Kyle Pitts. But apparently Arthur Smith forgot that tight ends exist when he went to Atlanta.
And
dude's got 900 plus receiving yards.
And yet they take him out in red zone situations. He doesn't play in the red zone. That doesn't make any sense to me. You don't have Julio Jones anymore, and
are they going without tight ends then?
Typically, and it just doesn't make any sense. And you got a wide receiver playing running back, which that's worked out. So I'm not going to give them any criticism.
Yeah, I mean they figured out a way to utilize Cordero Patterson that
nobody else
had.
Anyway, I'll take Arthur Smith. They can bring him back here. I don't care. I'll take him. And Todd Downing, we know how most of us feel about him. I think Arthur Smith's a great offensive coordinator. I just don't think he works in Atlanta. I don't think Matt Ryan is the type of quarterback that he needs to be working with.
Well,
because Ryan's got a different style.
And so again, Matt Ryan is another guy who could be somewhere else next year. Russell Wilson could be somewhere else next year. Aaron Rodgers could be somewhere else next year. You're talking about three guys, all in the NFC, who have all been considered to be, and I hate the term, elite at some point.
No question. And there are a lot of teams who would like to have them. I know I'll just stick with Ryan Tannehill. That's all I'm saying. Mike Vrabel said that as well. We'll talk more about Tannehill and the Titans on the other side of the top of the hour. So come back with us. We will, again, be right back to the Lee Company studio. Talk Titans after this. Stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Mo, what's up, bro?
Let me say something else too about Mo Pat. Mo has done it all. I mean, he's covered the Titans, he's covered the Vols, he's done high school. He's a fantastic writer. He's now actually hosting a talk show every day in Columbia that is outstanding.
I got to tell you, you guys just killed it this weekend.
As 2021 comes to an end, so too does the holiday rush we love so much.
What about it, boys? I am so glad Christmas is over.
If folks did not follow you guys this weekend, boy, they missed a treat.
Speaking of treats, better late than never.
So he comes by playing Santa Claus, drops off some bags, and takes off. Well, in a bag is Chex Mix for the three of us. So I hand off Chris and JP's to Chris, and I've eaten mine.
And Joe, you see where that got us.
Yeah.
JP, don't worry about it. Anything tastes that bad won't go bad.
It's non-perishable. Is that what you're saying?
Joe's Chex Mix, cockroaches, nuclear war, all the time.
But we don't always get what we want.
Chris, it's okay. Everybody understands keyboard envy, and
I did have some.
I'm going to seek special help, brother.
So out with the holiday cheer and back to hard-hitting opinions.
Let me try to be as polite and politically correct as I can. But this new reclassification and redistricting for basketball and the other sports is the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
You know what they say about opinions, right?
They've been pushing for it for years, and almost as soon as they got it, you started hearing about
How people didn't like it.
Yeah.
Look, it's like my fourth wife. Be careful what you ask.
So on the cusp of a new year, welcome in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome back in, and we are talking Tennessee Titans football in hour number 2, and then we will get to the remainder of the bowl season. We'll pick everything left except the national championship because we don't know who's going to be in it. But yeah, we're going to spend an entire final segment of the day talking about those two playoff games and breaking those down for you and looking forward to it. But right now, let's talk a little Tennessee Titans, Mo, because positive, David Long back on the practice field yesterday. It looks like the defensive middle is getting about as healthy as it can be, so that's a positive. And this defense is kind of what's going to make it – they're going to make this team successful or not, because obviously the offense has to do what it's going to do, but defense has got to get stops because the offense still isn't quite fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Simmons up front. Danico Autry, what is his situation? I know we're getting ready to talk to Andrew in a second, but I mean, we've got to have that defense as healthy as it can be, because like you said, the offense is still, a little bit away as we get ready for these last two regular season games.
They are, in fact, but I think it's let's see here. I don't see anything about Autry, so I'm just not sure. So, yeah. I do know that Taylor Lewan is back, Saffold is back, but Nate Davis is on. So I'm not sure what the right side of the line is going to look like. Andrew, do you have any insight? Andrew Moore joining us now.
As far as I understand, with the new protocols the NFL just came out with, I think if you're asymptomatic, it's only a 5-day stint on the COVID list. If you have the symptoms, I think it's a full 10 days or until you get healthy again. So I know we got some players that went on there on Tuesday on my birthday, I believe. I think Autry was the biggest one that stood out to me. So, I mean, realistically, as long as he's not symptomatic, he could be ready to go by Sunday, I think, along with pretty much anybody else. As long as they don't get put on the list today, you could very well see all these players back in uniforms for the game on Sunday.
I like the way you snuck in your birthday being Tuesday. Happy birthday.
Hey, it was probably the worst part of my birthday was reading that at Puckett's with my family. But other than that, you can't really complain too much when you have a birthday,
Well, and Puckett's not a bad way to celebrate it either. It's been a while since this team played.
Which is a good thing for the Titans, typically.
Hey, sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you guys. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We were just kind of talking about the downtime that this team has experienced since playing on the Thursday before Christmas. What do you feel like the effect of that is as they go into this Dolphins game against a Miami team that played on Monday night?
Yeah.
You mean just? I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it's my phone or what. But I'm having a real hard time getting a connection right here.
I'll tell you, Mo. I really think that this is a Dolphins team that is riding high. So whatever momentum there is, the Titans are going to have to find a way to shut that down early, because if they get something going early, they could be trouble.
Yeah, they beat a really shorthanded New Orleans team on Monday night, and like you said, they've got some momentum going, but at the same time, it's kind of momentum with an asterisk when you look at who they've beaten over this current run that they're on.
7-game win streak.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of what you would consider quality wins, really, I don't think. So it'll be interesting. I think scoring first, which, duh. But I think if the Titans could maybe get up on this team a little bit and put them in some adverse situations, maybe you get a different Miami team under those conditions.
Well, whoever
put me wants to agree and say it's not real quality wins, but 7 in a row after losing 7 straight is still something that's really impressive. It's something that we as Titans fans kind of went through. Was that back in 2009? Started the season 0-6 and almost made the playoffs. So you got to give Miami a little bit of credit for what they've been able to do. But the biggest thing when it comes to really any success with this team, the way it's built right now, is you have to get on them early. You have to establish that lead early, and you have to keep pounding them in the face as the game goes on. Now, we know this team can come back from behind, but now that I'm 1 year older and my heart's is a little bit weaker than it is, I don't know if I can survive many more of those games like we did last Thursday.
Yeah, no doubt. This Dolphin team, they opened this 7-game win streak with a 17-9 win over Houston. They defeated Baltimore 22-10. That might be their biggest or most significant victory. Won at the Jets, defeated Carolina, defeated the Giants, won at home against the Jets, and then this 20-3 win on Monday night against New Orleans that was down to, popcorn salesman at quarterback. So I mean, but as Mike Vrabel has said, it's tough to win a game in the NFL, and so to that point, Andrew, you're right. I mean, running off 7 straight after losing 7 straight, it does get your attention, but pounding them in the face early and often, it would just be interesting to see if that's the case, how they respond to that.
Absolutely. And it's I think just being at home on Sunday is also going to help this team. Just in the spot that we're in, you like to feel confident that we have this division under wraps, but you just never know. Those pesky little Colts will not go away. So I think being at home, I don't know if the cold weather is going to affect the game on Sunday. Coming, with a very South Florida team coming up here, which is probably going to be a 30-degree difference between Miami and Nashville on Sunday.
Sounds like it's going to be a 30-degree difference in Nashville.
Between kickoff and the end of the game?
But no, between Saturday and Sunday.
That too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a game against the Dolphins that doesn't last 7 hours.
Oh man. I just recovered from that game maybe about the other day, and now I'm starting that anxiety starting all over again. That was one of the worst Sundays I've ever had in my entire life. You start watching a game at noon, and your game doesn't end till like 6:30, clock that day, and then after all of that you lose. That's that's not the best Sunday of watching football that I could imagine.
So let me just throw this little tidbit out at you. Obviously, we all know that Ryan Tannehill is playing against his former team, right? That's a given.
I would love to see Ryan Tannehill go out there and remind him why they drafted him, I think 8th overall in 2012, and why it's very important to build a team around a quarterback instead of just expecting a quarterback to make a team, which is exactly what Miami did. So I would love for Ryan Tannehill to go out there and prove to that front office that, hey, you know what, you messed up, and thank you so much for sending me here, because it's just made my career everything it should have been down in Miami.
Well, here's what's on the line for Ryan Tannehill. 1, obviously beating his former team. 2, can secure the AFC South. 3, he would become the winningest quarterback within the first 3 seasons with this franchise in the history of the Titans-Oilers franchise. And he only played 13 games his first season. That's pretty impressive.
That's huge. I knew he was getting up there in wins. I know he's only lost, maybe 15 games since being here. I haven't actually looked at that stat, but now that I'm hearing it, it makes complete sense, and it's really impressive. Like I said, what he's been able to do, how he helped resurrect this team from being 2-4 just a couple of seasons ago to helping lead us to the AFC Championship game, and now on the cusp of back-to-back AFC South championships. I mean, there's a lot of Ryan Tannehill haters, and there's many times where, I get a little frustrated with them, but I mean, we know what the alternative is. We know that very well here in Tennessee. So, I mean, as Titans fans, we should be happy, we should be grateful, and we should always expect something special out of Ryan Tannehill, because he's helped turn this franchise around, and has really kind of also helped Mike Vrabel and John Robinson probably get extensions at the end of this year.
No doubt. It's tough to always take that big picture look at things, but I think when you're dealing with Ryan Tannehill, you have to open up your perspective a little bit, because there have been times when he hasn't been great, but overall, who would you rather have? So,
Here's the thing: Ryan Tannehill, he's not Tom Brady, he's not Philip Rivers, he's not Peyton Manning, but for what he is and what he is for this team right now, I mean, you can't really ask for. I mean, he showed it in the second half against San Fran. That's why we have Ryan Tannehill on this team. So for what he is and what he does for this team, I don't think you can find a better quarterback for us right now.
I mean, I would take some, but like you said, he's the most important. He's the most important guy on the team, because he understands his role. He understands how to do his job, and he does it each and every week. So you can't argue with that. All right, fellas, Sunday noon, Dolphins at the Titans. When we come back, we're talking bowls, so stick around after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. As it is the final show of 2021, we will be back on Monday, January 3rd. So enjoy your New Year. Your New Year's Eve celebrations. Enjoy them responsibly. As we told you yesterday, please do that. It's time to, I guess, go through the rest of these bowls, which means we get to bring in JP. But I am currently 10-15 on the season, by the way, with some games to be played. But I'm 1-4 in the games featuring SEC teams. The only game I picked correctly was the UCF over Florida. So struggling right now. South Carolina earlier today took down North Carolina 38-31. Didn't see that one coming. So JP?
Yes.
Let's see. What is your record? Your record is 11-14.
I had a better day yesterday.
11-14.
Yep. So I picked up 3 yesterday, did I not? With that number?
I think so. You picked Oklahoma, Clemson, and Maryland. So well done.
There you go.
I did not. I picked Oregon to cover Oklahoma. Mo, where are you at after
12-13?
Oh no!
Wow.
12-13. Yes. Did not see this one again. This North Carolina thing playing out the way it did today.
None of us did.
Missed Oregon last night. Should have went with Big Game Bob, obviously, but
clearly,
yeah. 12-13.
You picked? Did you pick Iowa State as well?
I did pick Iowa State. Yeah. So
interesting. I mean, I expected Clemson to win just because I thought defensively they were just too good, and that's ended up being the difference. I mean,
there you go.
Period. All right, JP, take over. We got 6 games to get through, so let's do it.
All right. So we'll get right into it. We'll start off with, as I scroll on down, we've got the Outback Bowl Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central. Penn State versus Arkansas. So it is Penn State, a 4.5-point favorite in this one, Mo. The SEC, a dog in this one.
I have really liked KJ Jefferson all season, and I think that Penn State's play at quarterback has been really up and down all year, and on the basis of that, I'm calling the Hogs in this one.
The line has since moved to Arkansas as a 2-point favorite.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with the Hogs because they went from a 4.5-point dog to a 2-point favorite. So, yeah. I mean, and I think it's exactly that. I think KJ Jefferson is just too dynamic for this Penn State defense to take care of. He does too much.
That's interesting how it's moved, and of course, a lot of it is who's playing, who's not, as things go on, and of course, reminder our listeners and viewers, the lines that we have are from early on. They get locked in, so everybody can participate. So there's a lot of shifting. So Arkansas, I like them too, especially at plus 4.5. I think the SEC is about to go on a little run here. We saw earlier today, of course, South Carolina. I did not select them. I had North Carolina, but Shane Beamer's had his team ready to play today. They obviously wanted it more. It was apparent. I think Arkansas will be ready as well, although it's hard to count out James Franklin. He did well in bowl games at Vanderbilt. Yes, bowl games at Vanderbilt. So,
thanks for the reminder.
That should be enough right there.
So, but I like Arkansas. I like Arkansas this one. So, all right. So we'll move on to the Fiesta Bowl. This is going to be Saturday at noon Central. Early start, and that's going to be. Is that 11? Are they Mountain Time out in Arizona, or? They could be Pacific.
Yes, they are an hour behind us right now.
Okay, because they're one of those places like Indianapolis that never changes.
Mo would know. Mo has an inside connection to Arizona.
A couple of them.
Arizona. Yeah. So an 11 a.m. start local time. Oklahoma State, Notre Dame. Notre Dame just missing out on the playoffs. Their new coach coming in, of course, who is an old coach there, the defensive coordinator. It appears that they have rallied around him. But Mo, Notre Dame, a 2.5-point favorite in our pool here over Oklahoma State. Ranked ninth, by the way, in the playoff rankings.
Yeah, my initial pick was Oklahoma State in light of the coaching staff, coaching situation. But like you said, I really think that this team has and will rally around Marcus Freeman, the former defensive coordinator who was elevated to the new coaching spot following Brian Kelly's departure. I'm going to stay with the Cowboys. I think they've played some pretty good ball here down the stretch. But it's a shaky pick.
Shaky, he says. Chris?
Yeah, this is basically a pick 'em against two really good football teams. The fact is that Oklahoma State has played two decent defenses all year long, and they've gotten beaten both times. So I'm going with the Irish. I think, they just have too much in the run defense for Oklahoma State to be able to do anything. So I've got the Irish here.
Yeah, Mo, I'm with you. I think the way this Notre Dame football team has responded to the announcement of Freeman as their coach, and I've been real impressed with him so far. I think he'll have that team ready to go, and talent-wise, I think they've got more. I like that at 2.5. If it were like 5 or 6, I might be a little iffy, but at 2.5, as Chris mentioned, basically a pick 'em. So I'm on the Irish on this one in the Fiesta Bowl for all the Tostitos as Musburger would say. All right, we go next to the Citrus Bowl, where you can spell citrus without UT, although you can't spell Music City without UT, by the way. It is number 15, Iowa, and number 22, Kentucky. You both are trying to spell in your head, aren't you? Music City? Yeah.
You also can't spell Kentucky without UT, but hey,
that's true.
Here we are.
Yeah. Iowa and Kentucky, and the Hawkeyes 15th ranked in the country. Kentucky 22 in the playoff rankings, but Kentucky a 1.5 point favorite in this one in the Citrus Bowl Saturday at noon. Mo?
Iowa burned me a few times over the course of the season. I thought they were better than they were. I think Kentucky really wants to go out with a bang right here, and I think they got an opportunity to do it. Like you guys said about the last game, at 1.5, this is basically a pick 'em. But I'm going with the Wildcats here.
Okay. All right. Chris?
Kentucky's offense, far too dynamic. Iowa will not be able to stop them. Kentucky will score all the points. And
for all the Tostitos.
Iowa might be able to score a little, but they won't score enough. And their best defense is going to be their offense keeping the ball away from Kentucky. And I just don't think it's going to be enough. I got Kentucky in this one.
Okay. Yeah, basically a pick 'em. So I start to look at secondary, who's more happy to be there than the other. You look at the trajectory of both of these teams, at least the perception. Iowa may be disappointing a little bit because they got up to number 2 and then they lost and did not get to the Big Ten championship or did not win the Big Ten championship. Kentucky feels like they're on the rise. They beat Florida. They had a couple of other really big wins. And I just think that momentum internally will carry them, especially in a pick'em game. And I'm with Chris. I think the offense for Kentucky is going to be too strong for Iowa. So I like Kentucky as well in this one. Now we move to, as they say, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, New Year's Day, 4 p.m. Central Time. Number 11, Utah, the Pac-12 champs versus Ohio State, ranked 6th in the college football playoff rankings, and the Buckeyes are a 7.5 point favorite, although a couple of key players are not playing, including standout wide receiver Chris Olave will not play for the Buckeyes. So Mo, 7.5 point favorites for Ohio State. Chris, is that line moved?
You want to guess how? Do you want to guess how far it's moved?
Is Utah now a favorite?
12 points.
Utah is a favorite.
4.5.
Wow,
Utah is a 4.5. It's moved 12 from 7.5 dogs to 4.5 point favorites. This is free money, folks.
Yep.
Goodness gracious, yeah. Thank you for letting me know that. I'm all over. I'm all over these Utes in this one. Yeah. Give me the Utes.
The Utes. Only 33% picked Utah in the Capital One Bowl Mania.
That's
only 33%.
I'm shocked.
Give me the Utes all day.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. I 4.5 point Utah's a favorite. Is that right now?
Yes.
I would go with Utah at that. I just think
I agree.
I just think Utah's playing better. I don't see Ohio State getting up after a crushing defeat to Michigan, not getting in the Big Ten championship game, not going to the playoffs. A couple of players have opted out. It's the Rose Bowl. Utah's just more happy to be there. They're going to have I think a home field advantage with their crowd too. This is Utah's day. It's going to be their shining moment. And I just think the Utes are going to roll in this one over the Buckeyes. And I'm okay with somebody rolling over the Buckeyes personally. Doesn't bother me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with that, right? If you're a true SEC guy, you can't like Ohio State, right?
Exactly.
All right. How much time we got? 4.5, 5.5, 3.5, 2. 2:30, he says. Okay. We've got 2 more games to go. So we'll get right into the Sugar Bowl Saturday night. Number 7 Baylor versus number 8 Ole Miss. The Rebels 2.5-point favorites in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, I think they call it. Nope, it's something new. That's right. It is
Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's
Yeah,
Palace.
Caesar Superdome.
Caesar Superdome.
Yeah, the Mannings are Caesars now too, according to the commercial. So Mo, Ole Miss
Apparently.
2.5-point favorites.
I think the Grove South is going to be rocking Saturday night. I like the Rebels in this one.
I like the Rebels too. This line has actually moved to a 1.5-point favorite for Ole Miss. So money going to the Bears, but I don't think it's going to matter. Ole Miss is going to win this one.
Matt Corral's playing, correct?
Yeah, everybody's playing for them.
Yeah. So I like Ole Miss. This could be one of the better games, though, I think, of the bowl season. Baylor's good, but I like Ole Miss. The coverage should be close. And then finally, before we take a break, the Texas Bowl on January the 4th, LSU versus Kansas State, and LSU a 1.5-point favorite in this one. Well,
I don't know who's going to be there for LSU. I'm taking Kansas State in this one.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Matt Mo. I mean, it's actually moved to Kansas State being a 3.5-point favorite, and I don't know who's going to play for them.
Is Kelly coaching for LSU?
No, but
Yeah,
I don't know who is.
Yeah, I think Kansas State. I just LSU they're not all together, so I think Kansas State gets this one done for sure.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, look, we're going to break down both college football playoff games and give you our picks against the spread here. So stick around. It's going to be fun, and who knows? Maybe some surprises in the world of Southern Middle Tennessee sports. So come back with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Final segment of 2021. Yay. Hey, Mo, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Kevin Byard tweeted, much love to Titans fans or something, which is phenomenal.
I think Jeff Simmons tweeted something out last night along those lines as well. So yeah, they're like, "Hey, we love y'all. Don't worry about that other stuff." I think Jeff Simmons said something about shut out the noise and just keep doing what y'all do. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
So remember when we were talking about how much disarray Hawaii was in? How bad does the situation have to be for your son to be in the transfer portal?
Wow.
Todd Graham's son has entered the portal. That's pretty rough.
That made for an interesting Christmas, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, by the way, ship's going down and I'm not going to be on it.
Yep. I'm leaving paradise for greener pastures. Wow.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, man.
Takes a lot to leave Hawaii.
No doubt. Anyway, it's time to break down these college football playoff games. We've talked about them for, I guess, a month now, but we're right on the edge and it's time. So let's get into it. JP?
All right. First up will be the Cotton Bowl Friday afternoon. Is that 2:30? Is that right? 2:30 start Central Time? Is that early in the afternoon?
Right.
Yep.
It is correct.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's the typical 2:30 CBS game, if you will. So, yeah, the afternoon. 2:30 Friday, it will be number 4 Cincinnati, number 1 Alabama from
Alabama's second home. Third home.
Jerry's World out in Arlington, Texas. So not in the Cotton Bowl, but this is the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, they've not played the Cotton Bowl in the Cotton Bowl for
it's been
several
a few
years now. Yeah.
Alabama, a 13.5-point favorite. The early line there, a near 2-touchdown favorite over Cincinnati, the first group of 5 to make it in. Mo, what are your early thoughts on Cincinnati, Alabama?
It shouldn't take long. I'm just trying to come up with the right way to verbalize it. I mean, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's child's play, I think, for Alabama. It's unfortunate that this is the draw for Cincinnati, but I'm not sure who else they would have had any better shot against. The thing is, the group of 5 has wanted to get into this position. They're in this position. It's one of those be careful what you ask for kind of things. But I mean, they've got a shot. But I don't think Desmond Ritter can make enough plays against this defense. I think Nick Saban will have this team as rat poison proof as they could possibly be. 14 points is nothing for this ball game. Alabama, load up.
Yeah, 13.5 is it's not as many as it probably needs to be, but it hasn't changed. So clearly, even money going both sides, it appears. Here's the thing about Alabama and Jerry World. As I said, it's their third home right after the Georgia Dome and Bryant-Denny. 5-0 at AT&T Stadium. 2 of those have been college football playoff semifinal games in which they have won by a combined score of 69-14.
Hello.
So, I mean, I'm just telling you.
Numbers don't lie.
And they're 8-3 in college football playoff games. They've won their last 5 semifinal games since that lost to Ohio State. Alabama runs the football well enough to keep Cincinnati from trying to make them one-dimensional. Cincinnati is one-dimensional. Desmond Ritter is kind of the guy. But I will say I do think it's interesting here. I don't know if you saw Jerome Ford, Cincinnati running back, is an Alabama transfer.
Sure.
And ran for 1,250 yards, 19 touchdowns this year. But that's still nothing compared to Desmond Ritter is the guy.
Desmond Ritter has to be perfect in every facet of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. Perfection, gentlemen, is what you have to be.
That's what we're seeking.
If you are Cincinnati. And if you fumble my football, I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. That's exactly what Luke Fickell's basically got to give them that speech before the game because they have to be perfect. Alabama is just too good. They're too talented, and there's no way they're going to lose this game. And I don't think there's any chance they lose it or they win it by less than 2 touchdowns. So, of course, with that said, I've got to go with Alabama at minus 13.5.
Yeah, there's nobody maybe in the history of college football, one of many accolades I think you can tab on Nick Saban that prepares their team better with this amount of time for a game. And, I'm sure there's nobody opting out. Obviously, they've got a national championship to win. He is the best at this. And, I don't doubt that Cincinnati will be prepared and Luke Fickell will have his team prepared. And it will be an interesting matchup between the Alabama receivers, of course, without Mitchie, if I'm not mistaken. He will not be there because of his injury. And the secondary for Cincinnati, which is one of the best in the country. Typically, though, Alabama always wins those matchups. So I agree with the both of you. I think it's an easy win for Alabama. I think it's more towards 17, 20, 21 points. Could be 24. That's just my gut. But I do like Alabama, even though it's a big number in this one to advance on. What a difference from getting out of the Iron Bowl when Alabama escaped. I mean, escaped. To where they sit now as the odds-on favorite again. What a difference!
No question there. It took a little time for this Alabama team to get because they're young. It took them a little bit of time to get to the level that we're used to seeing Alabama play at.
Yeah,
but they're there. They're back.
They are. Yes, they are back for sure. All right, we ready to roll on to the other semifinal?
Let's do it.
All right, the Orange Bowl primetime game Friday night, New Year's Eve. It's a hell of a way to ring in the new year with some good football right here. Number 3, Georgia. Number 2, Michigan. And the Big Ten champs, 7.5-point dogs to the Dogs down in Miami at, I think it's still called Hard Rock Stadium. I'm not sure, but it's where the Dolphins play, where the Hurricanes play. 7.5 touchdown and a hook, Mo.
Well, when they showed a clip earlier today on the Worldwide Leader, they showed the sign up on the side of the stadium, and it did say Hard Rock. So I assume, yeah. But I'm picking Georgia just because of what they've done all year this year. And I think it's really a kind of a desperate situation for Georgia. I mean, I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, this thing could go sideways real quick for Kirby Smart. I think if they look as bad in this ball game as they did in the SEC championship game, I think they have to win this ball game just for their fan base and for everything else. And I think they're capable. It took Michigan a while to get to the level that they're playing at right now, but it was the Big Ten. I just like Georgia in this ball game.
Interesting. Chris?
7.5 points is a lot of points in this one, I think. But, Mo, what you said, and this is the key, what you said is what they've done all year long. What's the one thing that Georgia has done all year long better than anybody else in the country? Stop the run. And Michigan's calling card is the run game. Jordan Davis will be the key
for this Georgia team, and they are going to absolutely destroy Michigan up front. And I think if I'm you, if I'm out there and I'm a bettor, 45.5 points is a pretty low number. I still think it's going to be lower than that. I think both defenses are just too good, despite the fact that both teams, Georgia 442 yards a game, Michigan 451 yards a game. I don't think that that's going to be the case. These two defenses are just too good, and Georgia's going to win, and they're going to win by more than 7.5.
So you said the number is 45?
45.5 on the over-under.
So
it's 23-22.
28-17
would be under.
Would be under and would be
a cover.
7.5. Would be 11. So yeah. Okay.
Do that.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm going anywhere with any kind of green, it is definitely the over under. I agree with you. I think it'll be under that for sure. The defenses are just exceptional. There's something special to me about Michigan this year, and the momentum of getting over the hump against Ohio State. I was curious to see how they would respond to the Big Ten championship game. Thought they might come back down to earth a little bit. They did not. And they carried that over into a convincing win in the Big Ten championship game. I think they continue that. Georgia, now, granted, how will they respond? We don't know. Coming out of that Alabama beatdown. I mean, it was a beatdown. And they've had a lot of time to think about it. Can you forget about it and move on? I don't know. So we'll see. But at 7.5, I definitely like Michigan to cover. And at this point right now, I would lean towards a Michigan win. I just feel there's something special about this team now. I wouldn't be shocked either way, however this went, because these are two very good football teams. I'm just not sure how Georgia's going to respond. I'm not sure their offense can do what they need to do. And I think if anybody is capable of pushing that defensive front of Georgia, Michigan has the guys to do it if anybody can. So, but that will be a fun matchup. But I like Michigan to cover for sure.
All right, there you go. That's the final segment of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today of 2021. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us all year long. We start again January 3rd, same bat time, same bat channel. We appreciate, again, all of you out there listening, and we hope that you will join us in 2022. Please, again, be responsible over this weekend and make sure to drink responsibly and gather responsibly if you are doing either of those two things. Mo, it's been fun. I'll see you next year. JP, same to you.
Happy New Year, fellas.
Absolutely.
Y'all be safe.
Out there.
For the Hall of Famer and JP, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great rest of the year and stay cool, Columbia.